when I've been asked who's the greatest WWE superstar of all time. And I've always said, and it's not close in my mind, in and out of the ring, it is Kurt Angle. And I am so honored and pleased to welcome in that man right now for the first time here on our show, Kurt Angle. Good afternoon,
Thanks,
sir. How are
Coach.
you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for the introduction. I really appreciate it, and I think you're right that I'm the greatest of all time.
I knew you would agree. I knew you would agree. The Real American Freestyle. Tell me, how you got involved. Your first event looked amazing, and where you think this thing could really head.
Well, about 6 months ago, Hulk Hogan got a hold of me and said, listen, man, I'm starting a freestyle wrestling league, a professional league for freestyle, Olympic wrestlers. And I was like, whoa, you got my attention. What's going on? And he said, well, we want you to be a part of it. And we think that you would be perfect for it. And, we're bringing in wrestlers like Kyle Snyder, Bo Nickel, Aaron Brooks. I mean, all these great wrestlers, incredible wrestlers. And, he said they're going to compete against each other, and a lot of female wrestlers too. And I was like, I'm for it, man. Let's do this. They're literally paying Olympic wrestlers to wrestle. There's finally a professional wrestling league for freestyle wrestling, and I was all for it. I was like, this is awesome. This is something that amateur wrestling or freestyle wrestling needed for a long time, and now these wrestlers are getting paid to do what they love to do.
See, I absolutely love it because it's you guys that understand the professional ranks and the professional side of it. But this is where you started. This is where you made your name. You're an Olympic hero with a broken freaking neck, I might add. And so to call you, give Hulkster, rest in peace, the credit that he deserves for calling you. But how quickly did it take you to say yes?
Oh, you know what? Honestly, I asked for a lot of money. I always ask for a lot of money at first. And Hogan was like, wait a minute, man, we don't have that in our budget. I said, well, you know what? Start the league, and while it's going, if it goes really well, give me a call back. So we left it at that. And a week later, I was like, man, I might have been a little tough on Hogan. So I contacted him and I said, listen, let's do something. We can work a deal. I really believe in this thing. I think it's going to take off. So I might as well go along for the ride. So I called him back, and we were able to work out a deal. And, him and his co-partner, Chad, after I got him back, Hogan was really excited, but then Hogan passed away. And it was like, whoa. And Chad called me and said, listen, the one thing Hogan wanted more than anything was you to be a part of this company.
Wow.
So let's move forward. And I said, are you still want to move forward with this? He said, yes. Let's do this in Hulk's memory. And I said, that sounds great, man. Let's do it. So we're doing it.
So how's it changed as far as the plans are concerned since Hulk unexpectedly passed away? Has that changed your responsibilities or what the league's going to do?
No. They keep me where they wanted me. The only person that's taken on the burden is Chad. And Chad Bronstein, and he is incredible. This guy has been able to take on this thing, and he's had it run it smooth. It's running smoothly. There's no hiccups or anything like that, or at least anything that I can see. So this guy knows what he's doing, and he's starting this program, this professional wrestling league, and it's going off without a hitch. I mean, we're doing extremely well. We have our second event coming up October 25th at Penn State. It's a great venue for wrestling. It's where the Penn State wrestlers wrestle. Penn State's dominated the NCAAs for the past 13 years. So it is a perfect place to have an event, an RAF event.
When I look at you and your history from Olympics, and there's only a few guys and girls that have ever done regular and then gone to WWE. This is the two worlds colliding really for the first time. Do you think this marriage is going to be a good one between ESPN and WWE?
I believe it will. I believe it will. You know what? I will tell you this. These wrestlers, these pro wrestlers are getting more and more athletic every single year. The athletic altitude it is right now, is off the chart. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, a lot of the psychology is gone. You know, wrestlers don't sell as much as they used to anymore. They're not doing a lot of amateur type wrestling moves, chain wrestling. A lot of it's high flying and really exciting stuff. But you know, I think they're doing an incredible job. So I think that ESPN being wrapped to it, they're seeing world class athletes in front of them every single week on WWE. So no doubt in my mind, it should be known as a sport. I mean, it's sports entertainment, but these guys are incredible athletes. They really are.
We should have had you a part of the show the other day. We did a segment on our pet peeves in
Yeah.
wrestling right now. And one of mine is kicking out of finishes because you said there's no psychology. We're kicking
Yeah.
out of finishes 2, 3, 4. I can't even imagine them kicking out of your finishes back in the day. What would
I
you have
wouldn't
done
let
if
them.
somebody? I was going to say, what would you have done?
You know what? I would have been a little bit. Listen, it's not a bad thing to kick out of finishes, but you have to make it has to be like a WrestleMania type of match or a moment.
Mm-hmm.
When they're kicking out of finishes, what are you going to go to for the finish?
That's
So,
right.
are you going to do your finish over again, or are you going to do some other move that doesn't mean as much as your finish? That's the problem with psychology. A lot of these wrestlers are doing their finishes early on, and then they're doing other stuff afterward on top of that. And that's not the way it should be. You know, you should hit your finish. That should be your very last move. That should be the defining move that ends the match. So I think these guys, I think they're gonna, you know, I think they're gonna eventually progress to that. I think, you know, there are a lot of smart individuals in WWE, especially Triple H,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not gonna let a lot of that stuff fly. So you're probably going to see a change in how they structure that. And I think the psychology will change. And I think that Triple H will be the one that will make sure it happens.
Along that lines, are you surprised, Kurt, that the Undertaker has taken on such a big role, not only as a coach but a podcaster, and now he's being very much involved in AAA down there in Mexico? I
Yeah.
was a little bit surprised, but he seems to really be enjoying it.
You know what? I am surprised too because he's so private and quiet, and his character has always been mysterious. Now, you know, he's an open book. But
Yeah,
you know what? It actually worked to his favor because he's becoming more popular. I mean, his podcast is going incredibly well. What's it called? LFW? Is that
yeah,
the
LFG, LFG.
LFG?
Yep.
That show's going off without a hitch. I mean, it's actually raised his popularity, and him working down in AAA. So I think he made the right move, and I think it's making his career longer. You know, he's not wrestling anymore, but it's extended his career to where he can actually do more stuff. Like when he was only wrestling, you know, he would go out there and he wouldn't cut a lot of promos. People wouldn't really know who he was. The Undertaker was mysterious. All he would do is wrestle and say, "Rest in peace." You know, so he's showing a lot of depth now, and I like it. So I think it's great for him.
So we were doing a show not that long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we were discussing what was the end of John Cena's career going to look like, and who should he wrestle on these limited numbers. And your name kept coming up and coming up and coming up and coming up, which it felt really good to me because a lot of people put you and him together. You came in kind of around the same time. You were a little bit earlier. You and I started together. But
Yeah.
how does that make you feel to hear people associate your name with another legend like John Cena?
It's great because I consider John the greatest of all time. You know, what he's done for wrestling as a pioneer, as a spokesperson, as a champion, 17 world heavyweight titles. No one's ever done that. John has the ability to stay healthy and never get injured. So his elongated career has made him the best in the business. You know, if you know, you look at Undertaker. Undertaker's been hurt many times and had to back out for a while. I've been hurt, had to back out for a while. Stone Cold Steve Austin's been hurt, had to back out for a while. Shawn Michaels, his back was injured. He
Yeah.
had to go for a while. So John's been able to keep his career going, and no one's had that kind of endurance. So I think that that's what makes John special. And not only that, but you think about all the Make-A-Wish kids that he
Oh,
met, and he was just such a pioneer for wrestling. He is he was Vince McMahon's. How do I say this? He was
Golden
Vince
Goose,
McMahon's um,
Golden Child.
dream guy. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
dream
yeah, yeah,
wrestler.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dream
So
talent.
yeah, so and John even sold his name to WWE because he was so thankful that they gave him a chance. And so I believe John is the greatest of all time. And to be affiliated with him, I know I was his first match, and that was really cool. And I wouldn't have minded of being John Cena's last match, but there's no way in hell I can get in that ring right now. So it's not going to happen, but it would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it really would have been. And some people have said, and I would agree with it, his match with Cody, his match with Logan Paul, even he goes, man, this is all I got. Well, all he has right now, every so often, is still pretty good, pretty high level.
Yeah, he's still doing it. You could tell he's beat up, but he's
Yep.
working through it. And, it makes me proud of him because I knew him when he was this young little buck and he's starting in WWE. And, things weren't going so well for him back then. He was
Mm-hmm.
the, what was it called?
Prototype.
Prototype,
Prototype.
yes.
Yeah.
But when he started with the rapper gimmick, things opened up for him, and there was no looking back. I mean, he ran the ball, he ran with the ball, and he scored a million touchdowns. And I have a lot of respect for that guy. He's been able to overcome obstacles. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's not the greatest athlete in the world, but he's a great worker. He knows psychology. He sticks with that. He's such an in-ring leader. It makes him so special. And I'm just proud of the wrestler and person that he's become.
Well, those two things are two different things. Being a great athlete, there's a lot of great athletes in the
Yeah.
NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, the Olympics. It doesn't mean you're going to be great at what your professional sport is. It doesn't
Right.
mean that. And he's
Yeah.
been able to figure that out. And you're right. You can kind of tell right now that the 25 years have caught up with him. But it would do that to anybody that
Oh,
had that
definitely.
many high level matches. So
But you know what? Think about it. He's rarely ever been injured. I mean,
correct.
he never had to take a break ever. So that builds the superstar. That
Yeah.
builds who is John Cena. It builds him up and makes him even more and more popular. I mean, when you're out with injury for a year, fans are going to forget about you. You come back, they're going to be excited. He's never left. I mean, so he's a machine,
He's
and
been
there's
so
no other
good.
words to describe him.
Right. He kind
Yeah.
of weaves in that whenever he takes 2 or 3 months off, in
Yeah.
quotes,
Yeah.
he's doing a movie or he's doing a TV
Yeah.
show or he's
Yeah.
doing a commercial. So he's still out there making money and having his face. He's one of those rare breeds. There's not a lot
Yeah.
of people that have been able to do that. I
No.
would love your reaction to this. We're talking to the great Kurt Angle here on Off the Ropes with the Coach. The schedule that some of the boys get to keep now.
Oh man. Oh my God.
Would we not have loved that back in the day?
Not only that, but the paydays they're getting, the
Yeah.
contracts they're signing, they're like 6, 7, 8, 9, $10 million a
Yep.
year. Back then, the highest guarantee we could get was $1 million.
Yep.
And not that we only made $1 million, but that's the highest guarantee we could get. And there were
Mhm.
only 5 of us that had that. So, but now, these guys are making millions of dollars and they're having like 50-day to 100-day contracts where they only have to work 100 times a year. It's like, holy shit. Like, sorry, but
No,
it
you
really
can
is
swear.
like, I worked probably 260 to 300 days a year when I was wrestling in WWE, and I never got time off unless I was
No.
really injured, like I broke my neck or I blew out my knee and I had to have surgery. But it was really, it was a really grinding schedule. And now you know what? They're more prone for the athlete now. They protect the athlete. They make sure they're drug tested. They make sure that they're not overworked. I mean, it's just a really cool time to be a WWE superstar right now because they're going to protect the wrestler and make sure they're okay.
Because right now we're obviously in a golden era of wrestling. We've got the very first 24-hour radio channel at Sirius that we're on right now. It's never been more popular from a financial standpoint. I just hope
Definitely.
that the storylines and everything keep up with it.
Yeah.
When you look back on your career and everything you were able to do, and the
Mhm.
way it started, the way that, in my opinion, you became the best. You were the
Thank
best
you.
in
Thank you.
ring. It's just I really, really feel that way. What are you most proud of in your wrestling career, Kurt?
I'm most proud of the way I adapted to pro wrestling. I had to forget everything I ever learned about amateur and focus solely on pro wrestling. And it's crazy how quickly I picked it up. I mean, I was
Mm-hmm.
only trained for 7 months, and Vince McMahon said, "You're making your debut tonight." I'm like, "Holy crap! What am I doing?" He said, "You're cutting a promo." I said, "Vince, I can't cut promos. I cut one promo down in Memphis when I was training down there. It was horrible." He said, "Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity tonight. You're either going to sink or swim." And he told me the promo. He didn't write it down. So I was like, "Whoa, whoa, Vince, I didn't hear a word you said. Could you repeat it?" He goes, "I'm going to tell you one more time. You go out there, sink or swim." So he told me one more time, and I went out there and I got about 80% of it right. He said, "You know what? I can work with this kid. This kid has ability." So he starts having me cut promos week after week, and I'm getting better and better. And before I knew it, I was a master at cutting promos. And not only that, but I was I was still learning psychology, so I didn't know a
Mm-hmm.
lot of psychology. So my opponents had to structure the whole entire match for me before the match started and call it in the ring, the whole entire match in the ring, so I wasn't forgetting spots. I did that for about a year. And after a year of that, I got so good at listening and following that I became a good leader. And I started structuring matches. I started leading matches. And within 2 years in the business, I became the best in the business. I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, whoa, I'm up here at the top and I'm winning all these world titles and I become more popular than just about any other wrestler. And I was up there with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Rock and
Mm-hmm.
Triple H. And it was like, whoa, this is crazy how fast this happened. But that's what makes me proud. And I'm also proud that I was able to overcome my addiction of painkillers too. I had a hard, long road that I had to endure, and I got off of them, and I'm just very grateful because they got me pretty good. They got me where I was struggling for a while. I almost lost my life. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very proud that I was able to overcome that too.